Hello and welcome to Not Replaced Yet Office Hours. My name is Nick Pushkar. Thank you if you are joining today. I really appreciate you being here. Starting a little early, and I got a call from Jesse, and he said that he is picking up his daughter from school and he's going to be running late. And so I thought I'd jump on here early and just have a little fun. And so hopefully you can see this okay. I'm looking over here in YouTube Studio as well as X, and I see the live show up and running, and I think we're looking good. Okay, cool. I have Cursor open, and I thought that it might just be kind of fun to vibe code something real quick. And let's see. Let me see what I can do here. So I'm gonna pull something up, and we're just gonna vibe code something off the top of my head. And I don't know what it's gonna look like at all yet. I haven't even thought of it. And so um, let's do okay, cool. All right, so if you don't know, this is Cursor. It's an IDE, and it is what a lot of people use to write their code with or without AI, but largely with AI. And so what you get is you get this, you have this, this is your main sorry, real quick. I'm getting distracted. Over here on the right is where you talk to the AI. In the middle is where your code shows up, and then over here is your sidebar. We have a bunch of different things. You'll see your directory and your search and your extensions and all that good stuff. And so, let's just do this. You know what? Here, I want to use Claude 3.7, not Max, and we want to use the agent. And let's do this. I am live right now, and I want to show off a fun vibe code project that doesn't require a database, at least yet. Give me some ideas. All right, so this is sending a request out to Claude, and it's gonna tell us some ideas. So if you don't know, vibe coding is basically a term that Andre Karpathy came up with, and it's basically just not really being very specific about your code. It's not diving in. It's prompting the AI with plain English or whatever your language is, and letting it just sort of work. And then if it works, you don't do much more than that, and you keep moving, as opposed to understanding each line of what was written and going in or writing a bunch yourself. All right, so what do we have here? We have interactive particle system, music visualizer, weather, mood board, meme generator. That could be kind of fun, maybe. Conway's Game of Life, collaborative drawing board, AI text adventure, fractal explorer. Um, no, I don't like any of this. This is lame. Um, Pomodoro timer. What's one? You know what? Let's do this. I've had this idea. Actually, I want to do this. You know what? Let's do this. Actually, no. You know what? Let's do. I don't know. I feel like I'm on the spot now, and we got to do something fun and cool, but I'm not inspired by any of these things. And so let's do this. I have been, here's what I want to do. All right, I want to create a tool that allows me to pull transcripts from YouTube videos that are all in the space of learning how to grow a TikTok audience. I should have an input that allows me to add multiple videos. Then you will go and pull transcripts from all of those videos and synthesize the information. And afterwards, you will output a clean, uh, you know, list of the recommendations from the videos. This all needs to be fully working in uh, dev mode. I want to use React, Tailwind, TypeScript, and I don't want a database yet. I would use Vercel and Supabase if I was going to do that. HTML, JavaScript. Um, oh, okay. Let's do this too. So something that's really smart to do is we're going to go to cursor.directory, and I'm going to go to rules, and I'm just going to grab, I kind of like this one. It's decent. It's not exactly what we want. Wait, let me see. No, that's the Chrome extension. Let's get React. Yeah, that's good. So this is a rule. This tells cursor, let's set this up. Uh, no, oops. This tells cursor what it is, it gives it rules in how to act. And so what you want to do is they allow you to create what are called MDC files. Oops. DC. And we're just going to paste that in. And so it tells it, you are a senior front-end developer and an expert in React.js, Next.js, JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS. And so these are instructions to the AI. All right. And so it's just a way of writing better, cleaner code. Um, and da, 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 let's give it a shot. So that's all I wrote. I gave it some rules from cursor.directory, and then I wrote this, and I'm going to hit enter. So this is real vibe codey because normally what I would do is if I was going to actually build something out, I would actually talk to it and create a PRD and oops, yes. So what's going on over here? Let me show you this. I wrote this, and now this is the agent that is running. So this is all AI on the right. And notice over here on the left, you're gonna start seeing files and directories open up, build out. Sure. Yes. 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 It's just asking a bunch of questions. I can't see. Yes. There we go. All right. Notice we already got transcript analyzer up here, and it just created all of these files right here. Still running. It's funny. Jesse does not know this is going on, so we are going to wait. Hold on. Hello, 1, 2, 3. If you're watching, I hope you can hear me. I think you can. I really do hope that's working out okay. In fact, you know what? I'm going to pull it up on my phone to make sure that you can hear me. That would be annoying if you couldn't. Notice it's still running. It's installing some NPM packages. It's navigating into the directory. It's installing all of the packages that it built. It builds out something called package.json, which tells it which packages need to be installed. Packages are pre-written code that give you features, things that you can implement. There you go. And so we're starting to see all the code be written there. Sorry, I'm switching on my phone to another account to see if I can see this live and make sure that. Hey! All right, cool. I hear myself already. Perfect. All right, sweet. All right, so this looks very nerdy. It also looks very futuristic. If you've never seen this, it's a lot of fun. I love it. Um, and this is legitimately like what vibe coding is. And there's a bunch of other things that you could do. There are things called MCP servers, and there's other things that you would want to do to have better outcomes. But this is the gist of it: is you have an app like this cursor, and there are other apps that you can use. They're called Windsurf or Roo or Claude Code or what is it? OpenAI has Codex. There's a bunch of them, and you let the vibes run, man. You create something. Okay, you know what? Let's do this. In the meantime, while that's running, so this is something that's common. What you want to do is you could do other stuff while it's going. So I'm going to pull up YouTube and I'm going to find what I want to send. How to grow a TikTok account. So I'm just going to open up a bunch of these. Boom, boom, boom. All right, these are going to be the videos that we're going to scrape. Stop. No, I don't want to play any of these. Please stop. All right, cool. These are the videos we'll use. And then I will just grab the URLs and pull them up and save them in a notepad while we run this. Boom, boom. Oops. All right, cool. So those are our URLs that we will want to scrape eventually. Okay, cool. So here we go. That's running on localhost 3000. Let's see if it actually works. Hey, all right. So this is the app that was built. This is, I bet you $10. Yeah, look. So this is something called DevTools, and this shows us errors that are in our app. I don't know. It might still be okay. We'll see. But all right, let's just see what happens, right? So I'm gonna paste this in. Oh God, the text is white. See, that would be something we would change. So I'm gonna add that URL, and I'm gonna add that URL. So to test, I just want to add 2 URLs. That's it. Now, I bet you there's going to be an error thrown in here. There's got to be, because I don't know what we're using. Jesse, welcome. We're going to analyze.
Oh, what's up?
Oh, look at that. It actually worked. Sweet. Okay. So it pulled the transcripts from Jesse. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can't hear you.
you can't
Hold
hear
on.
me?
It might be my headphones. Let me double check.
Mm.
If you can hear me, that's great. But we're doing,
Yeah, I can hear you.
I decided to do a vibe coding session.
Cool.
So
I'm joining the vibe.
scraping videos on how I created a TikTok growth strategy analyzer scraper. Um, and anyways, that's your quick vibe code session. And now that Jesse's here, I'm gonna pull out. And Jesse, you take over talking for a sec, and I'm gonna be right back. Okay?
Let's criticize
I
vibe
can't hear you,
coding.
but I'm gonna back
Oh,
out.
okay. I'm going to criticize vibe coding just to take the opposite position. I think, vibe coding came along as this like evolution of using AI assistance for coding, for development, and then the idea that you could be completely hands off of coding. You could just sit back and like vibe with the code. And I don't know, that's like dumb, but like it came from, I think it was
Hello.
Carpathy. You hear me?
Hey, I can't
You
hear
got me
you.
now?
Hold on. I wonder why.
And the moment that vibe coding became a thing, so did vibe coding haters because, there's real discipline
I
that goes
see your
into.
audio levels running. That
Yeah, you
seems
don't
fine.
you don't hear me?
Oh, it would be because my volume is muted.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
That that'll do it, man.
That'll do it.
Okay, hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's great. It's great.
I just decided to jump in and start early for all of
That's
our
cool.
zero watchers and do a quick vibe coding session to like
Love
show
it.
it off and see what was going on. So
Well, I had to pick my kids up from school. Such a
how
jabroni
dare you
move.
be late for this important date?
Mm-hmm.
Could have been great.
But wait,
Oh,
let
okay,
me.
sweet.
I'm pulling up
Yeah, pull up. I
Notion.
shared I shared
Mm-hmm.
the news doc with you. And so yeah, hey, if you're here, please like, subscribe, share, comment.
Okay.
Ask us if you have any questions about vibe coding, whatever. And we're about to run down the daily news. Jesse, let me know when you have that up.
It's logging me in.
Um,
You know, one thing I didn't tell you, our friend Julia, friend of the pod, if you're
Friend of the
listening,
pod,
what's
what's up,
up?
Julia?
She was telling me how she uses Notebook LM in her world because
Nice.
she has a bunch of technical, just like we talked about in the Zombie Job episode. She has a bunch of documentation she has to ingest, then
Yeah.
like make a report back, and so she loads that into Notebook LM, and they actually encourage them to use those tools. I'm not going to name drop the employer, but this is a very large
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
enterprise software provider, and they encourage them to use the AI tools. And she said that it hasn't really saved her time because she has to still read it and then she ingests it through the audio. Notebook LM, for those of you who don't know, is a tool that takes a larger audio file or larger text file and kind of creates a podcast show around a fictional show where you can like conversationally ingest the information. And then yeah, so she said it hasn't really saved her time. It's because it's made her output so much better. She still has to read it to understand it, but then once she does that, the second pass via audio, it just like really cements the information. She comes in like 5 times as prepared as she ever was. So love
Yeah,
that little story.
that's cool.
Yep.
We should definitely do some stuff on Notebook LM eventually.
Man,
That I think that would be really good.
here's the little experiment I want to do. I want to take our podcast transcript or maybe one of the Zoom brainstorms we do, and then feed that into like reformat it using O3 or whatever model we choose, and then feed that into Notebook LM and make the podcast without us ever even having to record the podcast. I'm
Uh,
curious.
I do like that. I'll throw out a bit of an even crazier idea. Is I want to build the AI predicts the future podcast,
Hmm.
where you create a corpus of news and whatnot built around. I mean, I was originally thinking about an AI, but I thought it could actually be interesting and maybe a bit more viral if you do it like with world news or whatever.
Hmm.
And it's you basically feed it a bunch of data from the past, let's say like I don't know, 6 months or 2 years or anything. And so then it has
Hmm.
this whole understanding of what's been going on in the news for that period of time. And then you have the AI predict what's going to happen next week and create a newscast around that, and then have AI avatars and voices read that news.
Hmm.
And so you could do that through well, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
love it.
so all right, are you do you have the doc up?
I'm ready to roll.
All right. Well, today is May 1st, Thursday, and the AI chip wars just got a bit louder. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang publicly criticized Anthropic for supporting new export restrictions on advanced chips. NVIDIA argues the controls could stifle innovation. Anthropic responded by releasing a new feature that lets developers connect third-party apps directly to Claude, turning it into a more integrated agent-like tool. And there's also a new player in the race for efficient models. AI2 has released a compact language model that reportedly outperforms similarly sized offerings from both Google and Meta. The model is open source and optimized for research and application embedding, part of a broader push towards small, nimble, deployable AI.
On that note, Amazon is scaling in the opposite direction. They just announced Nova Premier, their largest model yet. It powers everything from AWS tools to Alexa and reinforces Amazon's strategy to stay competitive in foundation models despite trailing OpenAI and Google in name recognition. And I just want to call out Amazon, one of the, if not the largest investor in Anthropic. So just worth keeping ducks in a row there, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving on over to Google, search just got a major AI boost. Google's expanded its AI mode, allowing users to ask more complex, multi-part questions and continue sessions seamlessly. It's now available to all Labs users in the US, hinting at a future where search becomes much more conversational.
Interesting. I'll have to try that out. Meta, on the other hand, they're not shying away from big bets either. We just talked about Zuck and the Llama 4 release, but the company just forecasted it could generate 1.4 trillion with a T in revenue from generative AI by 2035. That number is bold and clearly intended to get Wall Street's attention, but also reflects how central AI is becoming to Meta's long-term business strategy.
Yeah, there's also movement at the intersection of hardware and cloud, with Meta and Microsoft both raising capex projections to over 60 to 80 billion for AI infrastructure. Investors are rallying behind companies like Nvidia, Broadcom, and TSMC. The bet is clear. Data centers are the new gold mines of AI.
We should do a straight up TSMC episode. It
Agreed.
would be a lot of research to do there, but that'd be
It
helpful.
would be.
On the healthcare front, researchers are now bringing AI to the eye clinic. A new imaging technique enhanced by AI can achieve cellular resolution of the retina using standard clinic equipment. It's a major leap forward for early detection of diseases like macular degeneration and a glimpse at how AI will quickly upgrade routine medical visits.
And finally, a regulatory note from China. The country just launched a special campaign to curb AI misuse, focusing on fake content, IP violations, and unlabeled generated media. It's a part of a broader effort to assert control over fast-moving AI developments while promoting state-aligned models. And that covers it for today's headlines. Well, Jesse, anything interesting in your world? Anything going on in AI for you, or what's
No,
happening?
I mean, I haven't had yesterday when we started. I had just downloaded Windsurf. I haven't had time to play with it, so I just got it installed and need to
Sure.
really
You
my
got to
blind
watch my
spot.
vibe code session.
I know, but it's different tool. Actually, I am curious. Like for someone like me, maybe I can interview you for just a second. For someone like me, who any code that I write is going to be more prototypical. I'm not writing the code for our clients' web apps or applications or things usually. And I have in the past, but that's not the plan. But for someone like me who's building like prototypes, it's like, oh, I had an idea and it's a Friday night and I'm going to spin up an IDE and get something working, and
Yeah.
theoretically and in practice, I should be able to do that faster now with all these tools. Would you recommend me setting up like a GitHub account, like for private repos or something, or develop all locally and not worry about that? Like, what should I do in that layer?
Yeah. So if you just want to move quick and dirty, like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to have a Git repo. All the developers are screaming right now, but um, you don't need it just to play around with this stuff, right? It's helpful and
Mm-hmm.
it's very good, and but vibe coding in the way that you would want to play around with it, you would run everything locally. And so what I would say is you would use a certain set of tools, certain set of like a tech stack, and then you would run like there's different commands, but like npm run dev. You'd type that in
Mm-hmm.
your command line, and then that would pop it up into your local host, and then you would play around with it locally. Now, the moment that you want to sort of keep working on it and build it out, you would want to push it up to a Git repo.
Yeah.
That is, and yes, that's what I would do. Is if I were you, I would, you have a GitHub account, and
Oh
so
yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah,
just
yeah.
go into GitHub. I would go when I do this, I go into GitHub.com, I create a new repo, and then I go back over to my IDE, which is Cursor, which people saw, and then I'm already authenticated, and so it has access. I can access my account that way,
Mm-hmm.
and then I uh, yeah, I mean, even when you create a new repo, it tells you the little commands. But if you don't know what to do, that's the great thing about the IDE is that
Yeah,
you
it's
just ask
helping
it
you.
what to do.
Yeah.
And you can even write the command lines for you, and it's great.
Well, I think Git as and repos in general get very obscured. They kind of disappear into the background because natural language translated to Git commands is so easy for the current state and certainly the future state of AI. So I think that layer of like development interactions, unless you're working on a real in a team environment, like I think that kind of gets,
Well,
it's like auto saving, right? It's like most software you used to have to save, and now like auto saving is just a thing. I think auto repo management becomes a very like easy problem to solve for individual developers,
I
at
think
least.
eh, it could. You want to be careful. One of the things in when one is vibe coding is that mistakes will happen, problems will arise. And so
Hmm.
what you don't want is the continual committing of code
Hmm.
that is problematic, because you want to test and check to see if what you just asked it to do actually happened. And so
Hmm.
that layer, I'm not super committed to that aspect of where you would want to auto commit.
Hmm.
Um, but the act of committing is very easy because you can in cursor so this is where I was going to go with the rise of generative AI. I now feel like an expert in the command line
Mm.
because the command line is now plain English.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want in command line. And command line for the longest time, even for me, for you as like nerds who have been working on computers since the 90s, like
Yeah.
command line has always been a little bit we're front end devs from back in the day. So like with that being the case, like that
Have you
it's
ever
always
seen a
been,
true like back end DevOps wizard? Have you ever like sat
yeah,
over the
man.
shoulder of someone in command
Yes.
line who just
Yeah,
knows what the hell they're doing? Oh my
I know.
God.
It's impressive. And so one, I've upped my skills because I've done this and now the plain English helps me and now I know more, but now
Hmm.
I feel like a wizard too in there because you can do anything you
Because
want.
you could just go, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever sat over someone's shoulder that makes you feel like that in Excel or Google Sheets?
No, not Excel.
That is a special level of wizardry. Kevin Nightingale's brother-in-law, his wife's sister's husband,
All right.
Adam. Man, we sat across from him. He was a client. They wound up hiring us a million years ago, before nonfiction, pre-nonfiction days. But boy, like, you ever see the like Excel World Championship tournament? Like they have tournaments for Excel. Like,
I
man, this
have seen
guy,
that.
he probably
Yep.
wouldn't even. It's like someone watching me and you solve a Rubik's cube. We hit a minute or a minute and a half, and it's like not even close to qualifying for the
Yep.
World Championships. But like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm curious about the repo and how that goes. That layer frustrates me with just development in general. It's like here's a bunch of hurdles to get over before you start doing the fun stuff, even though it's important, of course. So I was just kind of thinking on that layer, but I do agree. Like I don't want to just like whip up a disposable couple of files of code to like prove something. It all is
Yeah.
intended to eventually move to a production, like a reality sense. So I
Well,
think a repo makes sense. And one
you
other
can
question on,
run git init. If you could work on a project for 3 months and then run git init for the first time if you wanted
yeah,
to. I
that's a
mean, you
good
can
point.
always add a repo. It's fine. So
Yeah, but it's more about the persistence and the access across devices
yeah.
and all
Yeah.
sorts
Yeah.
of things. And then inviting, like, me keying in on your tooling that you've built, that's
Sure.
helpful. There was another question that I was going to ask, and I'm blanking on what it was. It was not around Git, but anyway, yeah, I am excited to try out Windsurf. I'm only picking it to kind of round out our shared skills since you've got the cursor experience, and Windsurf seems to be the horse that OpenAI is backing for reasons we've talked about before. So it's like, cool, let's like round that out, and then at least maybe whether you should try to switch or not switch or whatever.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, that was the
Um,
question I was going to ask. Server stack wise, on a Windows machine, I mean, we've talked about like uh, Apache being problematic for all these old 2 generations ago technologies that you have
yeah.
to run to get it all working. You would recommend like a Node uh, like based application for.
So here's my opinion in the tech stack is go towards where the AI tooling is focused on. And
Totally.
so, especially when you have Versal, who created Next.js. Next.js is on top of React, and they built out V0 and V0, and you have Lovable and Bolt and Replit and et cetera, all these tools. And in my opinion, the ecosystem is focusing, is sort of centering itself around a Node, React, Tailwind, TypeScript
Yeah.
stack.
Yeah.
And so again, if you don't know what any of those are, that's fine, because then you can just pop into ChatGPT or the AI inside one of these IDEs and ask it, what is
Hmm.
Node? What is TypeScript? What is blah, blah, blah. And one of the parts of vibe coding is you don't really have to know what any of that stuff is. You just have to know the
Oh,
words. I know that's bad, but
cardinal
I mean, if you
sins, sinner.
if you just want to play around with it and do it, just do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, you're not going to build $1 billion company off of not knowing zero things or knowing zero things, but like,
Yeah.
you could get your hands dirty and go build a game or build something fun. Like, it's fine, and no harm, no foul. And so, like, that's, in my opinion, that's the kind of stack that you would start with. And so that's you didn't see it. I don't think you were here, and I think we've talked about it before, but here, in fact, I'll go here. I'm going to share my screen out.
Hmm.
Um, Screen. In fact, I pulled this up.
Nice.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Vegas,
But there's a
baby.
website, cursor.directory, and one of the things
Yeah.
is cursor.directory has a bunch of rules for Cursor, and the rules are instructions that are given to the AI every time the AI runs. And so, and then they have them organized over here by tech stack. And so you can see, I mean, here's Rust, right? And that's, different. And here's Swift, and here's blockchain. There's a bunch of blockchain dev going on, and
Hmm.
GraphQL and so on and so forth. But like, you go over to React and you say, okay, here are all the React rules that people have, these are just community, written things, and they're just text, So here, you copy this, and we can, let's paste it in here. Oh, you can't see that. I'm not sharing that,
Mm.
but it doesn't matter. So like,
Yeah.
you're a senior front-end developer and an expert in React.js, Next.js, JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS, modern UI, Tailwind, Shad CN, Radix, blah, blah, blah. You're thoughtful and given. And then it gives it fully implement all requested functionality, leave no to-dos, include all required imports. Follow these rules when you write code. Use early returns whenever. So it's just rules. It's just instructions for the AI when it's doing stuff.
Hmm.
So, so
Have you
yeah.
have you seen anything? I'm sorry to take this in a different
Yeah, no,
direction
no,
because
please
I
go
I
for it.
like I like the prompt libraries. I like the instructions. I mean, all of that like will be helpful. And I had a really wild card, like probably offensive idea just now, but
Careful.
um, you're giving the AI instructions, just like when we do marketing stuff with our synthetic personas, you give them instructions of embodiment. Pretend you're a 42-year-old white male from Georgia who is, et cetera, right? You're building
Yeah.
kind of just a text-based set of instructions, but those instructions identify who they're supposed to pretend they are.
Right.
You give a coding AI a persona at the beginning, you actually can kind of suss out and extract biases. So, like right before you give all those like you're a front end developer type stuff, you can say you're a female, or you can say you're, a given like racial profile, and you can extract in some ways, in non-specific ways, you could extract the biases that those definitions encode when you give such a um, like a verifiable domain, like programming, like we've talked about before. You have this like
Hmm.
machine readable verifiable output, and so then to identify the biases, mixing like subjective identifiable persona details with the verifiable stuff. I don't know,
Yeah.
just an
No, I feel you.
interesting way to.
It's an interesting thought experiment. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's um
So
well,
yeah,
do
that's
that and report back tomorrow.
there you go. Yeah. Only if it's kosher, I think. But oh, cool. Well, this seems like a good place to end. I think, unless you had more vibe coding, you were going to take us through.
I think that's it. I mean, I'll share the screen out one more time on where is huh. I have to find my tab. I have too many things open.
It's hiding.
Oh, it's create next app. That's what it is. Here we go. So what I asked it to do is one issue. What I asked it to do was to get the transcript from the YouTube video, and then through that transcript, analyze all the recommendations and give me like a bullet list of the top recommendations, right? So what do? So I'm going to click analyze transcripts because I'm going to assume that meant get the transcript, but maybe maybe that button changed and I didn't realize it. You know what I'm saying? Here, in fact, you know what I'm
Yeah.
going to do? I'm going to go to another tab. I don't know if you can see this. No, it still says
No.
analyze transcripts. So analyze transcripts. Yeah, that's getting the okay. I mean, that's a good start though. That's because we have the text. If we have the text, that's fine. And now we
Then
can
you
run
can
that
just
through.
pass it through.
In fact, the truth is I did not set up any OpenAI keys or anything. I don't have a .env file, and so that's the next step. It wouldn't have done that automatically anyways, so that makes sense.
That makes sense.
But it was a real quick prompt, and it worked great. So
love it.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, thanks anyone who tuned in or who watches this retroactively. Please, we've said this the last few episodes, but just share our link, share our YouTube link or Spotify link or wherever you're listening to the podcast. I know on live, we're only on YouTube now. We stopped the X. Did we take that off?
We're
or
still on X.
broadcasting X? All right, cool.
We're still
What's
there.
Up?
It's
What's
happening.
Up, Twitter?
I think it's gonna die soon. Not the platform, but our usage of it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Also,
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah,
Feels
it's time and a place. So no, thank you though. But if you are tuning in, please share this with someone who is AI curious, AI anxious, who might be able to benefit from the knowledge, ideas, experiences that we're sharing. That's what we're doing this for, is to get the word out on opportunities and help people navigate these changes in fast times. So thank you for joining in. Nick, anything before we close?
I think that's it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Rock and roll.